You there? Archie!
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, good mate. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Just getting in the pick there.
Yeah,
Have
just is it cropped you out
Has it? It did a little bit. Yeah.
to begin with? How are you? You okay?
I am okay, mate. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm well rested, and I've thought a little bit about what we're going to be talking about. How are you?
Yeah, amazing, mate. Always good. Try to be always good. Anyway, yeah, mate. So yeah, well, let's just get into it then. So
Yeah.
just tell people briefly like what you're doing and stuff now, basically, like what your
Um,
job is and stuff.
my job is I'm a musician. I'm a creator. I do different types of gigs and solo music, and I sell vintage books on the side as well, which is like another kind of thing to make a secondary income.
Yeah, and,
So
and and I think that's so important that people realize what you do. Like for me, when I think of someone who gets into gambling, I don't know. I have this association with someone who maybe hasn't got a job, hasn't really got much to do with hasn't got much to do, or um, yeah, that's how I associate that. But then to see that someone who's a musician and someone who's got a vintage bookstore, someone who's got his own business and is trying different things to get wrapped up in this world. So if you wanna go into now how you ended up getting caught up in the gambling world and what that was like for you mentally, how that affected your mental health.
yeah, I think someone like me, I've got quite a zest for life. I need quite a lot of engagement. I need a lot of excitement, and I think from my background, middle class, whatever, there was like maybe a need to kind of prove yourself, and with 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 the excitement of gambling, I guess it's just the rush, and maybe as a younger guy, I was like, oh, maybe I can even make some money from this, and that'd
Mm.
be amazing. So it started off at university really, and I would just do a little bit online, and then I knew I was having a bit of a problem, so I got a friend to change the password, but then I'd change it back, and then it would then I'd go to the shops, and then I'd go to the casino as well. Um, at the worst times, I'd be in the casino for say 8 hours, and I didn't even save a fiver to get a taxi back, and I just had to do the walk of shame at like 7 in the morning, like hungry, angry faced, hot faced, like yeah, just stressed, super stressed out. But it's also interesting what you said about having a lot of time. Well, I did a year in Spain where I was supposed to study Spanish, but this I think the Spanish culture, there was only 6 hours of lessons per week, so I had like 60 hours to do very little. And it's interesting actually, gambling in
Mm.
Spain is like one of their biggest one of their biggest things. So maybe that's the
Really?
reason. Maybe they work a bit harder.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, and you say you physically went into the casinos, but these days you can just go on your phone and within 2 minutes you're online in a casino, aren't you?
You are, yeah. And I mean, I even did a dissertation on gambling and stuff, but I've researched it a little bit more, and like the females, they're usually going now. There's a massive increase with women gambling, and they usually do it to kind of relax, de-stress, and maybe the men a bit more for the rush, and maybe for
Mm.
the idea of getting money. But yeah, it's pretty tragic. I mean, I've known some sad stories of a guy who I met in Gambling Anonymous, which is a place you can go to try and get support with other gamblers. And he said he worked for 10 years, bought a house, lost it, and then did that for another 20 years. So he bought
So
three houses.
bought the house again, then lost it, then bought the house again, then.
Exactly, and even as a heroin addict, you can only really spend about what 200-300 pounds a day, maybe 400 if you're really going for it. But
Mm.
as a gambler, you could lose like a million or two in
Shit.
a week,
Yeah.
and so that can mess with you.
Oh, 100%. And you go back to saying it's that rush, that maybe people. I'm not saying this is for you, but maybe some people aren't getting that rush from life, and they're like, right, well, I need something to give me that rush, and they
Mm.
find that in gambling because I've been in a casino, I've won in a casino. It's a good feeling, and you're like, oh, I've won, I can do this again, and you kind of convince yourself that you can make money from it, and that it's okay. I'm up, I'm still up, and then it ends up coming down.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm not saying that no one no one can gamble. It's a small percentage that become like pathological gamblers.
Mm,
But the ironic thing is the money that the pathological gamblers spend is like most of the money that the gambling industry make. And the reason why the government is so relaxed on it is because a lot of money is made, like about 500, I think 500 billion in taxes worldwide over that figure,
Jesus, really?
just from the government's the taxing of it. So that's why they're quite relaxed on it. But a lot of people are dying and having problems. So it's good we're talking about this, and I want to talk
No,
about
no,
it.
no, 100%. And like linking this with mental health now, then how did that affect your mental health? Because I can only imagine how difficult that must have been, keeping it from loved ones or maybe keeping it from friends.
Yeah, like at the lowest, I would say I was suicidal. I was
Mm,
contemplating it, and if I didn't have maybe a family that I decided that I could open up to, or then it could have gone the other way. And obviously, we did that walk together, me and you,
yeah,
for
did the 24-hour walk.
yes, for someone that you lost. So um, it's a serious thing. I mean, yeah. So weight loss, angry at the world, screaming at mirrors, hair loss. Not that I worry about that
Shit.
anymore. Erase that.
You
Um,
don't want to lose it on your face.
um, so so yeah, really tough. Oh yeah, I'd say I had like even a slight psychotic period sometimes, but I was also maybe smoking a bit of weed at the times,
Mm.
which is ideal. So just
Sorry, did that lead on to weed then? Were you smoking more weed because of these mental issues you were having? Did you get that, Arch? You there? You there, Arch?
yeah, I am. Sorry, I think the video
Sorry,
paused.
mate. Sorry, mate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It cut out. So would you say you were smoking more weed, maybe to get away from those mental issues that gambling caused?
Um, maybe being a bit more experimental for sure, with
Mm.
and as a distraction. Um, yes, but I think the two together was a really bad
Mm, cocktail.
cocktail. Yeah,
Mm.
cocktail.
And obviously we've only got 10 minutes. This is really short, like to the point. So we spoke about gambling and how you got into that. We've discussed how it affects your mental health. Now, how did you come to the point you are now? Where you are, on the road to recovery. You're doing so well now. How could you help someone who was probably in your situation 3 years ago? What advice or tip or anything could you give them?
Um, I would say I would say you will get through it. I mean, you might be feeling so down in the dumps right now, but you will get through it. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Like if there's even one person that you half trust, just like tell them about it. A problem shared is a problem halved.
Mm.
Um, and and yeah, basically, Teal Swan, she's a spiritual woman, and she says, what would you actually do if you love yourself? Like every day, if you say that question, she said, what would you do if you love yourself? You can relate it to anything, and things like that. They're the things that are going to help you get through. But yeah, you need to put in boundaries with yourself. Even give your cards away to your girlfriend or grandma or someone you trust
Mm.
initially if it gets that bad. But there's softwares that you can put on your laptop that will not allow you to see a gamble. Obviously, Gambling Anonymous. Um, but yeah, you've got. I mean, even in Gambling Anonymous, you've got to be careful because I tried to. I was very young and naive. I stupidly tried to set up a business with another ex gambler, and that's just not ideal.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because yeah, they were in it too far. I mean, some people they've got a personality disorder, I'd say, and they will never be able to. They don't really want to help themselves deep down, until someone
Yeah.
actually help themselves. You can bring a donkey to water, a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, sort of thing. There's an aggressive
No,
thing there.
100%. You know what? This, having this conversation just reminds me of it's an addiction, isn't it? It's like kind of like drug addiction. It's like a 21st century addiction. Like gambling, pornography is a big one
Mm.
now. And this seems like just under the umbrella of addiction. And it's so interesting that you say you know, communication is key. Now, who was the first person you really opened up to about this? Like, did you let your family know? Like, how did you
Yeah,
find the courage? How did you find the courage to do that for someone like me, or for someone out there who's like, I can't tell my parents? How did you come around to really saying, you know, fuck it, I need to tell someone to get out of this mess?
well, I did a good job. I hid it for 2 years, and then
Shit.
I just read the email that I actually sent my dad, and yeah, it still kind of tore me up, right? Just reading it,
Mm.
because I was just basically saying I felt suicidal. I was in a mess. I hope you can forgive me. I've deceived you. I've lied about money. I've taken money when I shouldn't have. Um, so I guess there was just no other choice really. It was either opening up, being honest, or eventually, my own demise.
And
Uh,
shit,
but
for 2 years holding that secret like that, I can only imagine what effects that had on your mental health as well. You know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, eventually, I when I was in Spain, I was like, I've got to get away from all society and all machines. So I went and ran off to a hippie camp because I knew there'd be no phones, no machines, no casinos, and it's funny to laugh at it now, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was a serious thought. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Um, so so yeah. I mean, yeah. If you know the people who love you, then it's got to be done. It's
Mm.
got to be.
Well, the legend, thank you so much for coming on, Archie. And if anyone's watching this and feel like they've got nobody to talk to about any kind of addiction, listen, I'm always open to someone, reaching out to me, and I'm sure Archie will be the same if anyone's going through gambling or anything like that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, if anyone's going through that, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me or Archie. Just a quick one, Archie has got some amazing music. Go check out his Instagram if you're watching this, or if you're on YouTube, check out his Instagram. Some amazing tunes. Thank you,
Namaste.
brother.
Namaste
Namaste
and
to you.
namaste.
Thank you, mate. Have a good
All
day.
right.
Thank you,
Peace.
mate. Love you. Bye, mate.
Bye, mate.